My name is Rachel. I'm 29, and I live in a small town in Pennsylvania. Fall has always been my favorite time of year, especially because of the local fall festival. Every year, I make it a point to go with my friends and enjoy everything: the food, the games, the hay rides. But the highlight of the night is always the corn maze. We all love it, and this year was no different. At least, that's what I thought. The sun was setting when we got to the maze. The air was cool, and the excitement in the crowd was infectious. We entered the maze, laughing and joking as we tried to find our way through the twists and turns. It started off fun, just like it always did. My friends and I were having a blast, teasing each other whenever someone made a wrong turn. We even joked about how creepy the maze could be at night. But as the sky grew darker, the mood began to change. The cornstalks loomed higher, casting long shadows that made it hard to see. The laughter started to fade, and soon enough, we were walking, quietly, the sound of the dry corn rustling around us. That's when I first noticed him. It was just a figure at first, some guy standing a few paths behind us. I assumed he was just another festival goer, maybe someone who got separated from his group. But as we kept walking, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was following us. Every time I looked back, he was there. Not close enough to interact with, but always at the edge of my vision, staying in the shadows. I pointed him out to my friends, but they brushed it off. "It's probably just some guy trying to scare people," one of them said, laughing. I tried to laugh along, but something felt off. The man never spoke, never made a sound. He just watched. A little later, my friends started running ahead, trying to race through the last section of the maze. I stayed behind, thinking I'd catch up in a minute. But suddenly, I realized I was alone. The others were out of sight, and the maze felt like it had closed in on me. The air felt colder, and I could hear only the sound of my own breathing. Then I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate footsteps crunching on the dry ground behind me. I turned and saw him. The man who had been following us earlier was now much closer. His face was hidden beneath a hood, and he was walking straight toward me. My heart was pounding, and panic set in. I knew I couldn't wait to find out what he wanted. I took off running. I could hear him running behind me, his footsteps getting faster, closer. I turned sharp corners, sprinting blindly through the maze, desperate to find my way out. I could hear his heavy breathing behind me, matching the rhythm of my own. The walls of corn seemed to close in, the path never ending. Finally, I saw the exit up ahead. With one last burst of energy, I ran toward it, bursting out of the maze and into the open field. I stopped and turned around, expecting to see him right behind me. But he was gone. Just like that, he had vanished. I stood there, panting and shaking, looking around for any sign of him. My friends came over, laughing and asking why I looked so freaked out. I didn't know how to explain it to them without sounding crazy. The next morning, the local news reported that a woman had been found dead in the corn maze. They said she had been strangled, her body hidden between the tall stalks. I felt sick. I couldn't help but think about the man who had been following me, how close I had been to becoming another victim. I'll never forget that night, and I haven't been to a fall festival since. It's hard to enjoy something when you know how quickly it can turn into a nightmare. My name is Maya. I'm 28, and I live just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I work as a food blogger, which means I get to visit festivals and try out all kinds of new food spots. Last fall, I decided to check out a local fall festival for my next review. It was one of those small, charming festivals where everyone knows each other. I was excited to see what they had to offer. As I wandered around, snapping photos and jotting down notes, one particular food truck caught my eye. It was new, and people were flocking to it. The truck had this old, rustic vibe, and the owner, a man in his 50s with a wide smile, was enthusiastically talking to everyone about his special chili. He claimed it was made with local ingredients and that no one else could replicate his recipe. I love discovering hidden gems, so I was intrigued. I decided to order a bowl of chili. The man was friendly, almost overly so. He seemed thrilled that I was interested in writing about his food, and even offered me a second serving, free of charge. As I ate, I noticed a slightly off taste, but I brushed it off, thinking it was just some unique spice. After all, that's part of the fun of trying new things. Later that evening, I went home and wrote my review, praising the chili and the festival. But as I was typing, I started to feel uneasy. My stomach churned, and I felt waves of nausea coming over me. By midnight, I was violently ill, so sick I could barely move. I spent the entire night hunched over, shivering and sweating, thinking it was just a nasty case of food poisoning. The next morning, I saw a news report that stopped me in my tracks. Several people who had eaten from the same food truck were hospitalized, suffering from severe food poisoning. Some were in critical condition. I couldn't believe it. The same chili I had eaten, the one I had written about, had put people in the hospital. As more information came out, it was revealed that the truck owner had been sourcing his meat from illegal, contaminated slaughterhouses. He wasn't using local ingredients at all. The chili that so many of us had eagerly eaten was tainted with unsanitary meat, and the consequences were devastating. I was lucky enough to survive with just a bad night, but others weren't so fortunate. Some people died. The man was arrested, and the food truck was shut down for good. But I couldn't shake the guilt. I had encouraged people to try that chili. I had praised it in my review. If I had been more cautious, if I had paid attention to that strange taste, maybe I could have stopped more people from getting hurt. Now, every time I attend a festival, I'm reminded of that night. The excitement of trying new food has been tainted with fear. I'll never forget how close I came to being another victim. My name is Liam. I'm 32 years old, and I live in a small town just outside of Columbus, Ohio. I'm a single dad, raising my 5-year-old daughter, Sarah. She's my whole world, the light of my life, and every day, I try my best to give her a happy childhood, despite the challenges of raising her alone. It was early October, and Sarah had been begging to go to the fall festival that comes to town every year. Like most little kids, she loves animals, so I knew the petting zoo would be her favorite part. It was a Saturday afternoon, the sky cloudy, but the air still warm, and the festival grounds were packed with families. I held Sarah's tiny hand as we made our way to the petting zoo, her excitement bubbling over. We got there, and just like I thought, she made a beeline for the goats. She giggled as they ate the feed right from her hand. I stood nearby, watching her with a smile. It was one of those rare moments when everything felt peaceful, like I was doing okay as a dad. Then, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I took a quick glance, just a call from a friend I hadn't heard from in a while. I figured I'd answer it, just for a second. That's all it took. When I turned my head back towards Sarah, she wasn't there. At first, I didn't panic. Kids wander off sometimes, right? I scanned the petting zoo, expecting to see her just a few feet away, but she wasn't. My heart started to race. I called her name, louder each time. Sarah! Nothing. I ran over to the staff, asking if anyone had seen her. No one had. Minutes felt like hours, and panic clawed at my chest. I screamed for her, pushing through the crowd, searching every corner. The festival staff got involved, then the police. I couldn't stop thinking, how could I let this happen? My mind was racing. She was right there. They checked the security footage. That's when I saw it. A man, dressed in a festival staff uniform, walking towards Sarah. He leaned down, said something to her, then gently took her hand. She followed him without a struggle, like she trusted him. I couldn't breathe. The man didn't seem suspicious, blending into the crowd like he was just another worker. The police tried to reassure me that they were working on it, but I knew. This wasn't a random abduction. This man had planned it. He waited for the perfect moment when I was distracted, knowing I wouldn't suspect a thing. I felt sick to my stomach, the weight of guilt and fear pressing down on me. It's been days now. No word, no leads, just silence. Every night, I see her face in my dreams, and every morning I wake up to the nightmare that she's still gone. How could I let this happen? And what kind of monster is out there, walking free, knowing exactly how to disappear into the crowd?